Hey, Thomas from Field Tennis. We're continuing with the series of what the wrist does at contact point on the serve. Today's topic is the slice serve. So I'm going to record the slice serve at 240 frames per second. I'll be just using my iPad Pro and the OnForm app to scrub back and forth, and then we can discuss and what's really going on. So I will record the serve from different angles, and hopefully that's going to clear up your mental image of what really goes on with the wrist when we're hitting a slice serve. All right, let's start with the slice serve from the back view. So here's a normal speed, one slice serve. So the reason why I'm showing you first slice serve from this angle is just to show you how I served it. So it's a good slice serve. It doesn't curve the most in the world. And also you have to know that if this was a hard court, then the ball would have curved a bit more because it would skid, but clay court grips the ball a bit more, there's more friction, and slice is then not so pronounced, or the curve, right? So what I want to show you is how my slice serve looks like from this angle, because in the future clips I'll be showing you slicers from the side and also from the front, and you will not see where the ball goes. So what I want you to know is that I was recording the clips until I made a good slice serve. So even when you're looking at me from the side and I'll be showing you a slice serve, that's the one that went in. So if I missed it, I repeat it. So all the slice serves that you will see now from other angles, they went in something like this. So just that you have a picture of how my slice serve looks like. All right, in this comparison, we're looking at the slice serve versus the flat serve. So hopefully you can see immediately which one is which. So on the left is slice, on the right is flat, and they're synchronized. So if we rewind now a little bit and we see how I'm coming up to the ball and what's going on, you can see that there's very little difference here. So the main difference is just that on the slice side, when I'm hitting the slice serve, the racket is not going to completely come on the back side of the ball. So when I make contact, the racket will be at a slight angle. And when I'm hitting the ball flat, the racket basically comes flat on the back side of the ball. And that's all that needs to happen for the ball to behave differently. So one of the main conditions. The other one is just like a little bit of where am I pushing the ball, because I could be hitting the ball from this contact point also flat outward. So in this case I'm hitting more down the middle, but I could be hitting the ball flat more outwards, and in that case I would come a bit more on the side of the ball. Look, I would come a bit more from this side of the ball and push the ball a bit more in that direction, but these are all very, very small changes, very small differences. So if we continue here, then you can see that the path of the racket becomes very similar after contact. So at about this stage, it's basically very little separating the follow through, so the pronation continues in the same way as it does on the flat serve. So I'll give you a link. I had one short video I made at some point explaining what really happens with contact and pronation. So I will link it for you, but here it's also kind of visually very clear how little difference there is between a slice serve and a flat serve. So just basically slight racket angle and maybe a little bit more. So the racket goes a little bit more in that direction longer. On the flat serve, it goes longer in straight direction since I'm hitting there. So I'll show you like this, that you see more clearly. So if I put the racket at contact, I put the box, so the racket is here, and if I go a few frames, just a few frames, because later they will quickly catch up. So here you can see that the racket moved a bit more to the right with the slice serve. So it moved a bit more to the right, and the flat serve went a bit more straight forward. So again, what is strange to players is that the racket moves to the right and hitting the ball left. So that's tennis, guys. What can I tell you? It's complex and very interesting sport. Okay, let's take a look at the flat versus slice serve. So I'm showing you now a comparison immediately because that's what will be the most obvious difference and something that kind of shows you what is a slice serve. So on the left we have a slice serve and on the right we have a flat serve. So this is the contact point and you can see how little difference there is in the racket angle. So the racket is angled just a few degrees away from the ball. This one obviously you see on this side is coming on the flat side, is coming really flat on the ball. So from the back view is coming really flat on the ball. And on the left side, on the slice serve, there's a bit of an angle. So even to me, I know what's going on and I've watched videos many times, but even to me it's surprising how little angle there is, right, in reality. So to me, when I serve the ball, I feel that I'm coming more to the side of the ball than what actually happens. So let me know in the comments below if this is maybe surprising to you too, or were you aware that there's such a little difference in degrees in contact point between flat and slice serve. So that's all that it takes. And again, remember I showed you in the first clip how my slice serve went. So this is a slice serve that goes in the court. So I'm serving out wide and flat serves are served down the tee. And so this small difference creates all that big difference on the other side. So the difference in where the ball lands on the court is about 4 meters. That's half of the singles court. And this difference is created here. So if I continue a bit further with the racket, you can see that there is also almost no difference in the pronation in the follow-through. So here's another side view comparison. On the left side, slice serve, on the right side, flat serve. So you can see how small the difference is in the contact point or the racket angle. I promise you guys, the serve on the left was a slice serve and it went how I showed you in the beginning. It takes just small racket angle degree change to make the ball fly 4 meters in other direction than a flat serve and also have a side spin. So you can see that if I continue the movement, basically no difference in the pronation in the follow through. So that's basically all that it takes here, the difference in the contact point. So even I zoom in, you can see there's a little difference in how the racket comes at the ball. Here is really at the back, flat on the ball, and on this picture on the left side you can see a bit more of the strings, and that means the racket is slightly angled. So that's all it took to hit a slice serve and not a flat serve. And from the front view, if we start at contact point, both serves are synchronized. On the left side, obviously slice serve, on the right side, flat serve. So you can see the slight difference in the racket angle on the slice serve, just slightly more angled to the side of the ball, and on the flat serve more in the back of the ball. So that's the difference. So if I run the swing up to the ball, basically no real visible difference, very minute details cannot be seen with the naked eye at full speed, so just slight difference. So basically here you can see that since I'm going into a flat serve, the racket has to start opening slightly earlier than here. You can see that difference in angles. We don't control that consciously, it's happening too quick. So let's say just from here that you're aware maybe of the time. So from there until contact is 300ths of a second. So there's no way you can control consciously this difference in racket angles when you're approaching the ball. So we don't do that consciously. All you focus is how you're gonna come on the ball, that you're picturing more on the side. You don't know how much more to the side. It's basically trial and error until you see how the ball flies off. So when the ball flies off,